Now, on the 5th of March, the mission was down to Bordeaux to take some 100-plus B-24s to bomb two aerodromes that the Germans were using with Ju-88s flying out in the Atlantic Ocean and bomb the convoys. It was there where we jumped by a bunch of AB-109s and FW-190s. We got into a fight. I shot down two at the beginning, and then I shot down two more. But then on the way back, I was over Le Mans, France, and my engine began to act funny. So by the time I got over Le Havre, my engine quit. I gave Mayday, of course, and no one could help me. And I didn't want to penetrate Le Havre and get into the English Channel because the Germans had already begun to fire at me. So I decided to turn back and try to bail out south of Le Havre, approximately 20 kilometers. And I was unable to leave the aircraft. I have forgotten to connect my cord from the dinghy, I was sitting on it, to my Mae West. And evidently the plug at the end of the cord must have gotten somewhere below the seat there in the aircraft, the cabin. And as I stood up, I noticed the plug was holding me. So I decided to get back in the cockpit. This is about 2,000 feet. I decided to get back in the cockpit, sit down, and try to unplug that plug there. So I played around with it. Finally, it came loose, and I connected it to the Mae West. Then I stood up again, and I tried to get on the left-hand side of the aircraft there, and I was just about to slide down and pull my D-ring when I looked to my left, and I can see cows all over the countryside. I knew I was too low to really leave the aircraft, and I decided to stay right there, and that's where I crash landed, and I was thrown away from the aircraft with a dislocated shoulder. I was thrown away from the aircraft in the air, tumbling, and bang, I passed out for a while. How long I stood there, I don't know, but it was for some time. When I got up and I opened my eyes, I had a tremendous pain on my left side here. I thought I was bleeding, and there was no blood, but evidently my arm had come off its socket here. First thing I said, thank God I'm alive. I couldn't believe that I was alive. I looked at my aircraft, crashed up there, and of course they had really told us the first thing that you have to do is just put fire on the aircraft and get away from the area. So as I tried to light my matches there from the escape kit to put fire, in my wet scarf, two German soldiers were approaching me and with their automatic firing. And I said to myself, my God, they tried to scare me,